It's not just an ordinary Tuesday. Welcome to Terrier Tuesdays, the show where you can get to know some of Boston University's best and brightest student athletes.
Welcome to another edition of Terrier Tuesday. My name is Pat Lawler, and joining me today is Stuart Bladon, a freshman on the men's track and field team. Stuart, thanks for joining us.
No, not at all. Thank you for having me.
First off, tell us a little bit about where you are joining us from and basically how you chose Boston University.
So I'm joining you from a little town called Newbury in the United Kingdom. It's about 60 miles west of London. And around about 2 years ago, I had decided to pursue sports at the collegiate level within the United States. And funnily enough, my coach, Adrian Hemery's dad, David Hemery, obviously went to Boston University and was pretty successful afterwards. And
to say the least.
So he definitely gave his seal of approval on it. And so when Boston did eventually reach out to me, it was not a difficult decision.
For those of us who may not know who David Hemery is, let me just jump in here. He's a former Boston University student athlete, winner of the 400-meter hurdles in the 1968 Summer Olympics. And he also coached the Terriers track and field team. And his son was your coach, your high school coach?
Correct, yeah.
Okay. Couldn't have a better ambassador for BU, so that must have been incredible. Did you get a chance to talk to David Sr. About BU?
Yeah. So I talked to him semi-regularly. I think it was at the national championships in 2019 when I was just talking to him about, my university search, and he just said, I know, I would definitely give my seal of approval to Boston University. It was great when I was there, and the city's amazing. So yeah.
Great. Again, couldn't have a better ambassador for BU. So you are arriving on campus soon. We're scheduled to get back to practice on February 1st. Obviously, there's been a few meets canceled. You're supposed to start the season in January due to COVID. A few meets have been canceled, but we are supposed to start up on February 28th, first Holy Cross. You must be excited to finally get on campus, practice, and start competing.
Yeah, so I just did the maths a couple of days ago, and I haven't competed in 383 days.
Wow.
And by the time we get to our first meet, will be close to 420. So I'm itching to compete, itching to get back on the track. The amount of preparation and improvement that you can get done in 400 days is just, I'm excited to see where I'm at, honestly.
Yeah, I guess that is the silver lining. You have been able to practice and try and get better at the events. Where have you been practicing at home in the UK, and what type of training are you trying to do?
Yeah, so it's obviously been difficult, particularly recently when we've had some stricter coronavirus restrictions put in place. But I ordered some gymnastics rings off Amazon, and I've been using them a lot for training. I'm pretty lucky in the fact that I have plenty of space, so I've been able to, I live on a hill. I just run up and down the hill. I've got like some tarmac I can throw the discus off into a field. So I've just been making do with what I have.
It sounds like you had a little bit of an Olympic village in your backyard there with throwing things around and doing jumps. I'm sure the neighbors could be amused. Well, that kind of leads into my next question. Your specialty is multi-events, the heptathlon, decathlon. Tell us what you like best about competing in the multi-events, and what's your favorite event?
Yeah, so we have a little bit of a joke within the multi-events community that we're all just chronically indecisive, and we just never decided an event to compete in. But honestly, to me, it's about the challenge. It's about challenging every muscle in your body, every aspect of athleticism, and there's no other, well, I don't think there's any other event in which, the Olympic champion in the decathlon will be crowned the greatest athlete in the world. And I don't think you can get that anywhere else.
For sure. What is your best and favorite event?
I'd say my best event is probably the hurdles, and I'd have to thank the Hemerys for that in terms of coaching. And but my favorite would have to be pole vault, just because of the adrenaline rush that you get when you're 4 or 5 meters in the air, upside down on a bendy pole.
When did you start pole vaulting?
I started pole vaulting when I was, I think, 15 years old. I happened to, I was already in the MultiEvents sort of setup from when I was about 14. And when you're 16, they introduced the pole vault into the actual competitions. So I just thought I'd get a bit of a head start. Started when I was 15, and you start with like just holding the pole, and then you move to like sticking it in the sand pit, and eventually just keep progressing. And it's not as scary as people would think to begin with, because you progress nice and slowly. You always feel within your comfort zone.
That's great. As we mentioned, the outdoor season typically begins in March, and hopefully there will be more opportunities to compete. Have you in the team set any individual goals for yourself, or what will you be striving for as we get underway this year?
Yeah, so I mean, I've got plenty of individual goals. I'm sure every member of the team has individual goals. But in terms of team goals, I'd say that it's been much less about numbers. I haven't heard anything like, oh, we want to score this many points, we want to come this place at conference. It's much more been about building a better culture within the team, building towards a culture that will then breed those results, those places at conference, those people that will go to NCAAs, people breaking school records, things like that. It's the focus that I think we have at the moment is about the culture.
It's a great answer, and there's certainly a great culture around the track and field team. Gabe Sanders and his staff do a wonderful job. So we're all looking forward to you guys getting back out there, whether it's this indoor season or the outdoor season. It's been too long, so we're looking forward to that. Thank you for joining us, Stuart. Stay safe. We look forward to seeing you and the rest of the track and field team back at it this year.
Thank you very much for having me.
Thanks for tuning in to Terrier Tuesdays. Give us a follow on our social media accounts at BU Athletics on Twitter and Instagram for more content.